Give me permission to record. Here we go.
All right, welcome to Positivity is the Way to Go. He is a content creator and also a podcast and co-host of Simon Says. Welcome my guest today, Josh Salmon. Man, long overdue, man. It's
Dion,
been
it's been forever, bud.
man.
Been forever.
Yeah, it's been like a million years since I had you on, man. I thought you wanted to be on the ban list when guests coming on. I
Never.
never been a guest before, but it felt like you was banned.
No, no, no. Never, never, never. Sorry. It's just been a crazy time. I changed the job and I got a bunch of things going on with that. And so it's just been weird.
Well, let's talk about you've been broadcasting 20 years. What is the difference between uh, transitioning to interviewing to being a broadcast to interviewing for the work you've been doing over these 20 years?
So you mean going from interviewing somebody to turning it into a broadcast?
Yes.
Okay. Well, actually, I've been teaching this. I've been teaching a couple local ladies here as a podcasting class and how to interview. So first of all, I tell people to stay away from yes or no questions, that kind of thing. Just be relaxed. And same kind of thing with interviewing. I think if you can get interviewing down, you can be more entertaining on radio and TV. You have to be laid back like we're talking right now, just like we're talking to one person, and you want to be interested and you want to sound, with your voice, you hit on the right places. The best example of that would be talk to a coach, after a big win, after a big loss. I hate when reporters don't talk to a coach right away. I'll call them later. No, the best emotion is right then. Win or lose, that's the best emotion you're going to get from a coach. So go down and get the audio. So that's the example I give. And so once you get relaxed interviewing somebody, then it's the same thing. You're sitting in a radio studio all by yourself. You're not sure if anybody's listening. You know they are, but you don't see them. So it's kind of fun that way. You just have imagination. Okay, who's listening to me? You know, do they even think I have pants on? Anything like that?
Well, you know what I like. I like when they do the halftime interviews. Or in the second quarter they do like interviews in the WNBA
Sure.
and the NBA. Now they interview a coach or a player. Like some people they may not like all the assets. It's like we just want to play basketball. So some people will have a problem with that. If you're a purist, big time fan. If you old school, you like, man, why they doing interviews in the second quarter?
Yeah, I like to line things up ahead of time. That way, the person I just interviewed an NBA player last week on my radio show. He's a local guy from Nebraska here. He was back home. He knew he was going to come on the radio, so he knew that he didn't know what I was going to talk to him about. But he told me what he didn't want to talk about. There was one thing, and we didn't talk about that. And so, as long as they know ahead of time, usually they do a lot better.
Well, you need to interview Fred Hoiberg, man. I mean, Nebraska had one of the best seasons ever last year in college basketball, man.
Yeah, they did.
Him and his son, you need to interview him on your broadcasting thing, man.
Well, it's
I
fun to
think
see
he'll be
his
a
son
good,
get drafted too. His son got drafted, so
yeah, I already interviewed him to Matt Rule, Matt Rule, he all right, but he haven't brought Nebraska back to prominence from the Scott Frost days.
yeah, he's a much better coach than Frost was. I think Scott's going to spend a little bit too much time partying.
Well, yeah, well, Matt Rule needs to get it together too, man. This is a make or break year.
Yeah,
You
it's
in the
tough.
big red, you the only thing in town.
It's tough
You
to
got to start
recruit.
winning.
When you don't win every year, everybody wants to go play for the win, and then you get into the transfer portal, NIL. It's a whole different ballgame than it was in the '90s. If a guy's here and he's doing okay, but he's not playing as much as he wants, he'll just transfer. And it's the transfer
Well,
portal is ruining every program.
well, what do you think about Nebraska this year in football? Well, you think they're gonna do anything? Do you think they be a bowl team? What's your expectations?
It's going to be the quarterback will be a big question. Obviously, with Emmett Johnson, he graduated. He went to the Kansas City Chiefs, which is great for them. It's going to be a little different. I think there's going to be a learning curve early, but I think there's a lot of talent there. I see a similar season as far as record wise to last year. Personally, that's what I see.
Yeah, but that ain't good enough for Nebraska, man. All your boosters. I mean, the University of Miami back. I mean, y'all got to go back to those glory days when y'all was playing Miami in the Rose Bowl.
Right. Yeah, like I said, it's a different game now with recruiting, and obviously NIL is a big part. I mean, one kid's going to go to the school
Well,
that's going to pay him the
yeah,
most NIL. So
y'all got the money. Y'all can do it.
that's true.
The thing about me is I don't want to hear about Nebraska not having no money. You in the Big Ten.
Oh no, they got
You
money.
know,
Yeah, yeah,
you're supposed to be in the upper echelon of the Big Ten every year. You should never be fighting for a bowl game. That is not what the fans saying up for, especially in Nebraska. Yeah, y'all in Illinois. You're not any well, Indiana's good now, you know.
right.
You're not Penn State. Y'all supposed to be a winner every year.
People have
And
to
the
think,
fans don't
well,
expect
like
anything less.
with Tom Osborne though, he took us those championship games, but his first 5 years or more were terrible in Nebraska. I mean, it just wasn't recruiting well, and so everybody comes in cycles. And when Nebraska keeps changing coaches every 4 years, it's hard to get a recruiting thing down. And again, if you're not winning so many games a year, it's harder to get players. They want to go to a school where they're going to win, and so it's tough because it's kind of a double-edged sword. You're not going to win more if you're not going to get players that want to win more, but you're not going to win more if you don't get those players. So it's kind of a catch-22.
Well, I don't. The thing is, I like how college football going because I think the players have been long overdue to get paid. You know, I mean, they're not college athletes; they are professional athletes, and you know, they play a professional sport, even if it is in college.
I,
So
I
I
I
think it's
disagree with that, but
good.
yeah, I don't like NIL
Well,
because they're getting the college scholarship. I mean, that is their pay. You either to me, you should either get the scholarship or the pay, one or the other. There's a lot of kids that aren't athletes that are, bringing the grades up in that college and making the college look good, and they don't play sports, but they're not getting as big of scholarships as the football players are. So,
well, I think that they need to spread the wealth, you know, to the other sports. I don't mind the NIL because that was bound to have with the Supreme Court, you know, and about people suing the NCAA, you know, that was
right.
bound to happen. Sorsby, Brandon Source, he was gambling on the sport. You know, I don't know why any NFL team would draft him if he gambled on sports. You know, that's what Pete Rose did when he was the
Exactly.
manager of the Cincinnati Reds.
Well, and what's funny about that is you look at like baseball last year and how many things were sponsored by FanDuel, which is a gambling company. So MLB strictly bans players from gambling, yet it's okay to take money from gambling companies like FanDuel and have things sponsored in baseball. So it seems like a it seems like a oxymoron to me.
Well, yeah. It seemed like they saying one thing and doing another.
Exactly.
So, what inspired you to cover highly specific topics like the story of the Doughboy and the message? Why might it be unnecessary?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
You remember you covered the Doughboy before, right? You had a story about the Doughboy.
The Doughboy. I don't remember. Sorry. I've done a lot of
Yeah,
stories.
you were talking about the moon and the message, and
Hmm.
why is not necessary.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not relating with what you're saying. I don't remember doing that. I'm sure I did. I just don't remember it.
Well, I did research on you, Josh, and that said to ask you that question, man. I did my homework on you, Josh,
Good.
and I thought that you would know about that question, man.
The Doughboy. I'm not sure. Huh. Yeah.
It said you covered his story of the Doughboy.
The only Doughboy I know is the Pillsbury Doughboy. That's
We'll go to something else, man.
that's fine. Sorry.
So, how do you balance global entertainment stories with the hype of Nebraska content, such as high school fundraisers and local football?
Well, around Nebraska, sports are king. I mean, you have agriculture and you have sports. That's the two big things around here. Whether it be, it used to be a football state, now it's a volleyball state. I mean, most people in Nebraska will agree with me. So you just got to kind of find, your groove and go with it. I didn't know much about volleyball a few years ago, and I started broadcasting high school, and I was like, you know what? I learned as I went. I'm still learning about volleyball because I don't watch a lot of it, but I can tell you what's going on. I can describe volleyball. I got to see the Love team from Omaha play with Jordan Larson. Took pictures of that a couple months ago. That was fantastic. It's an exciting game.
Well, the women's team is good in Nebraska. I mean, they be having sellout arena for exhibition games. I got to give Nebraska a lot of credit because the all sports teams are on the rise. Even though football been laying you down, you got volleyball and you have college basketball to look forward to every year.
Well, look at
Even if
softball.
college
Softball made
football
the
don't
women's college
deliver.
world. Yeah, softball made the women's college World Series this time, first time in a long, long time.
Well, yeah, because you had that girl that was from Oklahoma softball
Yep,
that
Jordy
won
Ball.
four that
Yep.
that won three. Yeah, Lindsey Bum. Yeah,
Yeah.
y'all had her and she won 33 games. But y'all sports teams is doing good. It is college football is the biggest sport. It's the biggest draw. So when they not playing good, it look like Nebraska sports teams are not that good
Well, and
because
I
football ain't that good.
and I feel bad for like the state colleges because we have Concordia College, which is a Lutheran college, and they've had some pretty good football teams the last couple of years. They've had some really good women's basketball teams. I mean, we're talking championship basketball teams. Hastings College is around here. There's a lot of state colleges, a lot of smaller universities in Nebraska, but people get the focus to either UNL, which is in Lincoln, or Creighton. Creighton's really making their way up too, but it's always been UNL and then Creighton. But yeah, I feel bad for the smaller colleges because they're not getting nearly as much attention as they deserve.
Well, yeah, because the Big Ten Network covering Nebraska all the time. You got the media covering Nebraska. You got Matt Rule that was coaching in the NFL. It's a lot of stuff going on.
Right.
But well, now, talk about your Rudy moment. I remember you had a moment where you were talking about the Rudy moment. What was that moment?
Oh, well, when I was what was I, 14 years old. I was playing Little League Baseball. We were tied going into I think we played 7 inning games. Anyways, we're tied going in the seventh. Somehow I got on base. I never hit the ball, so I must have walked. I was on first base. I represented the go-ahead run. The kid after me hit the ball to left center field. I was the fastest guy in the league. I came around from first with 2 outs to score. They threw it home. I went in standing up. They threw it back to second to try to get him out. He was safe. We won the game. So I scored the winning run. He had the winning hit. We both got a signed team ball, which I still have over here, and got a certificate to Subway for a free sandwich. But that was my greatest baseball moment, coming all the way from first with 2 outs to score in the bottom of the seventh, score the winning run. That was my Rudy moment.
I thought it was going to be getting a free Subway sandwich. That's what I thought you were going to say.
Well, I
I
still
was
have the
going to say,
baseball.
man,
Yeah, I still have the
what
ball.
about what happened to the Subway sandwich though? What happened to that?
I ate that. I got that right away. That's probably one of the first times I ever had Subway, actually, because we barely ever ate out when I was a kid.
Well, when I grew up, we had Wendy's and stuff. And my father, he loved a double stack, and a Whopper. You remember McDonald's
I
where
worked
you would
there,
go
yeah.
get the French fries, then you would go get a burger from Burger King. You know,
Yeah. I worked fast food in my
do
time.
you
Yeah.
do you do that for you?
I worked 3 years of fast food in my day. So
Yeah. So let's talk about photography. What is your tactic to help young broadcast that's coming up? What would you like to tell them? Like, do you have anybody that you grooming right now that want to be in the broadcast in Nebraska right now?
yeah, I actually had
That place for
when I started my broadcasting 4 years ago, I had a young man in high school. He was a sophomore. He worked for me for 3 years to help me get my networks going. It was good practice for him. He's now doing Nebraska sports at UNL. He's been doing some of the women's volleyball. He's done some of the football stuff. And so he's going on to that. I have another kid that's just been helping me the last 3 years from another school that does baseball. and him and I are actually doing indoor football right now together on TV. And then he graduated high school, so he's moving on to college in broadcasting next year as well. I've got a college kid working for me currently who is a baseball player, but he's learning broadcasting from me as well. So I use my broadcasting platform not only to cover high schools that nobody else was covering, but as a teaching platform for these guys that don't have the opportunities to do it at their school. So I have had some good success with some young men that come through my program, and I'm always looking to keep that going. They have to
Well,
want to
that's
learn.
good
That's the big
because
thing is they have to want to learn. A lot of guys, just get in there and they think they know it all, but these guys want to learn. They take suggestions from me. They respect what I do. I let them develop their own style, but they want to learn and they want to get better.
well, the thing is, you have to put in work. What you put in is what you're gonna get out. I like.
I had guys looking out for me when I first started and they didn't have to. So I kind of pay that forward.
And look at you now, Josh. You cover sports. You married. You living a dream, man.
Yep, pretty good. Did I tell you I'm doing the indoor football? Nebraska, we have a little indoor football team here that's 6-0 this year. Brand new team into a new league, and we've been doing the TV feed for that, so that's a lot of fun.
That's good, man. One time one of these days you interview, I want to see you broadcast some of the games. I want you to get footage.
I
That
can do
way
that.
we
Yeah,
could share it on my network, man.
yeah, I'll try to do that. I'll just do me talking, and because I'll be starting up. Yeah, I got some more baseball coming, and then my high school sports start here in August. So
I want football though. People love football. That's what I want more than in all America. Well, not in the world.
right.
Right now it's football.
Well,
World Cup.
and you know
So
what I
I ain't gonna
broadcast?
spend the soccer
I,
thing.
I do. I have two schools we do for high school. One is 6-man football, and one is 8-man football. If you've never seen 6-man football, it's crazy. It's like backyard football. Everybody's an
Well,
eligible receiver. That's the one I do.
yeah, that's flag football. They do that in high school sports now.
Well, this
So
is tackle, but it's
right
it's
now
six
that's
man. Yeah, it's tackle. Same rules as football, but it's everybody. It's just a 6-man
oh,
team.
okay.
They just have enough guys to go out for
Yeah,
8-man or 11. So,
yeah, and get hit, so I ain't playing. So
yep, this is a smaller school, so they have less numbers, but they still like to play football.
well, how confident are you as a Padres fan right now? I mean,
Not
how
very.
do you like the team this year? And do you think they're gonna get to the playoffs? And do you think that they should make trades? Like, what are your All-Star break observations right now?
Well, I'm at the same place I was this time last year. They needed pitching then. They need pitching now. They have four of their top four starters are all on the shelf. In the offseason, I'm not a fan of AJ Preller. In the offseason, his biggest deal was to get his own contract renewed, which he did. Well, then the team has sold since then. The problem is they have too many big contracts and not many people to sign. He's depleted most of the farm system. You traded your top prospect for Mason Miller, who Mason Miller's been fantastic, but now you hate to turn around and flip Mason Miller because he has the biggest trade value. You can't get rid of him. Tatis has a no trade. Machado has a no trade. Xander Bogaerts is 31 years old. They're not going to want to, or something like that, 30. Nobody's going to want to take on that contract, and so you don't have a whole lot to trade from. You need arms. You need pitching. This team, they got to make some drastic changes. I don't like the first year manager in there. I don't think that was the right hire. This is the sixth manager they've had in 12 years. Under AJ Preller, they've made the NLCS one time in 14 years. Or excuse me, 12 years. They've made just that's the NLCS one time. They've never made it to the World Series under him. I think it's time for a new GM.
I think that y'all had a window of playing good, and I think y'all did not hit that window.
I agree.
When y'all played the Dodgers to get to the World Series, and when y'all lost, that really killed a lot of momentum the Padres had.
Well, and
Because the Dodgers were going to win the World Series. And that was deflating, your rival, y'all. The thing is, I think that Xander Bogaerts was a bad contract. I don't have a problem with Tatis. I don't have a problem with Machado. I have a problem with Bogaerts. Bogaerts is not hitting at all.
no.
He is not playing good. And I think that will come back to bite you in the butt because you could have got other pitchers instead of Bogarts.
Well, look at you, Darvish. I
Because
mean, you
your offense
Darvish.
ain't. Yeah.
Yu Darvish might be done for his career, and we still owe him another. He's got another 4 years on his contract that you're going to have to pay unless he decides to waive it. They did the same thing with Eric Hosmer. Eric Hosmer, they traded him 4 years ago. They paid him for 2 years. He was out 2 years doing a podcast. The Padres were still paying him. It was another terrible contract from day one, and that's again another Preller thing. And so there's money they could have used to build up that team. But as far as the missed window you talked about, I think when Soto was on the team that year, I think that was the team. I think that was the year. I think that was the team that could have done something, and they made it to playoffs, and then that was it.
Yeah, well, y'all played the Dodgers and y'all lost.
Yeah,
Y'all could
Dodgers
have
have
went to the
unlimited
World
money, so
Series.
you can buy the best team you want. And Dodgers have unlimited money. I think with the I think baseball
Well,
needs a salary
well,
cap and a ceiling and a floor. I think they need both because there's teams that tank on
well,
purpose too.
that ain't gonna happen. Jeff Passan of ESPN reported that it
Well, they're
may
going to
be a
strike then.
lockout in
Yeah,
2027.
yeah, there ain't going to be
Well,
baseball.
yeah,
I
it's
don't
gonna
think.
be a sport. The players don't want no. The owners maybe want a salary cap,
Right.
but the players don't.
Yeah. Well, and of course, I mean, it
So
works in
if the
every other sport,
players
though.
don't,
That's the thing. NBA, NFL, NHL have always had salary caps. And look, they never strike. They have. And yes, I know the owners have money, but people don't realize that the owner of the Dodgers probably doesn't have as much money as the owner of the Colorado Rockies. It's just like any business. My small business isn't going to have the same amount of money as Jeff Bezos. Yes, we're both business owners. So
well,
someone will spend more and someone. I just think they need a top and a bottom, and it's not going to be fixed until it's
well,
fixed.
the issue with baseball is every year there's only six teams that can win it all. That's the problem with baseball. They don't have parity like the NFL. Like they need parity in a Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
If they have more parity and more teams have an expectation of going into the year at least making the playoffs, that'll make baseball more fun than having normal suspects every year. The Padres, the Dodgers, the Phillies, the Braves, the Yankees.
Yeah, I agree.
You
That's why
got the same
2015 was
team.
2015 was so fun for me because as a Royals fan, that was one of the lowest payrolls in all of baseball, and they wiped the Mets out that year after losing the year before to the Giants. Came back, went to the World Series again with one of the lowest payrolls, one of the a bunch of guys you never heard of put together this season and won the championship in 2015. And so that was one of the last small market teams to win the World Series.
Well, that don't happen typically, like
No,
Todd and Hotspur. Remember they won in soccer. They won the championship and they had the lowest payroll, and everybody went crazy when they had beat Manchester City and Manchester United.
yeah. Yeah, the thing is with the Padres too, and
So
I've said this online, but the Padres that obviously there's new ownership, but ownership isn't going to care. They're selling out tickets every single night. They're selling merchandise. Honestly, the ownership really isn't going to care much if they're winning or losing because they're making the same amount of money on merchandise, on ticket sales, on concessions. I mean, people are still going to come. They're still making the money. They really don't have any motive to keep winning. Well, we're still making the same amount of money if we're winning or if we're losing. And so fans just need to stop coming to game. I hate to say it, but fans need to stop coming for games for a while and let ownership know, hey, we're pretty serious about this. We're kind of upset. You need to do something.
that ain't gonna happen. The people want to get drunk. And some
Right.
people go to baseball games just to get drunk. They don't go there for the game.
I know. And they ruin it for the rest of us.
Exactly. But let's talk about dating. What do you think about the dating world, man? Because right now, I feel women today, I feel they are boring, man. I feel like they not exciting in there. You can't talk to them. I'm not saying all women, but I'm saying why ain't people more approachable?
I don't know.
Why do people creep me out and make me uncomfortable? It's
I,
weird.
yeah, I've been married 19 years, so I've been out of the dating scene a long time. But it was tough then. It's even tougher now. I just think that there's so many. I don't know how to put. And there's a lot of bad things on the internet, and I mean, there was a lot of bad things that existed before the internet. They just people didn't know about them, and so when people see things like that, women are a lot more skeptical of guys. Guys get a lot of bad images of. There's a bunch of bad ones and there's a bunch of good eggs like us, and so I think that's probably why part of the reason why I wasn't married until I was 30. I mean, not that people thought badly of me, but I was shy. I wasn't the big muscular bound guy. I didn't have, $200,000. And then later women start to realize, well, maybe I want the nicer guy. I want the guy, who's going to be a better husband and has more money and more muscles. And my wife wasn't that way at all. She's not material at all. But I'm just saying Sometimes women's priorities change. I know when I was in high school and college, they wanted the muscle bound guys, they wanted the rich guys, and I wasn't either one of those. And so they just look their nose down at me. And so, if she's right, she'll look for you to who you are, and that'll be good enough.
Exactly, man. I think women got too much high expectations. That's what I think. They need to lower and just settle, It's okay to settle for less, if you happy.
Well, and
Sometimes you gotta hit a single.
there's been a lot of guys too that have been bad. There's a lot of baby daddies out there that aren't fessing up, and so that makes the rest of us good guys look good. And so that's why a lot of women are skeptical.
Well, they cowards, but not take care of their kids.
Sure.
I'm gonna say it first. Be a man and stand on business.
Yep. Yeah. Anybody can
And
father a
also, I
child.
got breaking.
What's that? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Also, I got breaking news.
Ooh,
France is going home. Spain does beat them. So if you pick France as the favorite, they out. So this open up the door for Argentina.
there you go.
This is your FIFA World Cup update
Very nice.
live on my show right now.
There you go. That's just happened right there, folks.
Exactly. Yes, it did. Live update right away.
Yeah, I don't follow much soccer at all. I know nothing about soccer.
Well, soccer is very big when it's the World Cup. And I think the United States got to get better at soccer. I think that we don't develop homegrown talent enough in this country. I feel that we did not exceed expectations. We supposed to beat Belgium and got to the top eight. And with Spain winning, anything could have went. We could have won a World Cup this year. Or at least got to the top four.
Yeah, and I know when I lived in California years ago, soccer was a really big thing out there. And so, I mean, even this was even in the 80s and 90s, it was really big then. And so I know soccer's still really big in California, but here in the Midwest, not as much. I mean, they play it, but it's football and volleyball here.
I think a lot of fans are very casual fans. They care about it when they do, and they care about it when they don't.
Sure.
So a lot of people ain't true fans of these sports.
Yeah, that's the way a lot of sports are. I mean, there's a lot of baseball fans that way too. Oh, I like the Yankees or I like the Dodgers, but they can't name three people on the team. So, but when they're winning, they're out
Exactly.
there right away. Oh, yeah, there's my team winning. Really, name three players. So there's a lot of people that way.
Yeah, so let's talk about God, man. Why do you think that the world is in the position it is in? And why do you think more people don't want to serve God more? Because right now, with the way the world is, we need God so much. We need to come together and be as one. Because I feel that's the problem with society today is as the respect and accountability is gone.
No, I agree. And
And
there's
until we get to, where we get until we get to a point where we can all have conversations that are uncomfortable, because the thing is, not everybody is going to have the same opinion as you, but don't mean you discredit them and kick them to the curb. Like I have lived a better life because I'm not judging people. I'm starting to look at people as people. And if until we get to a point where we can do that and be accepting, we're not gonna get to a better place in the world today. You agree?
Yeah, and it's tough. I live in a town right now of 475 people. I'm at my house. 475 people live in this town. We have four churches, and that seems ridiculous to me. There's four churches praising the same God in a town of 475 people. So I mean, it's that way. People have their different religions, and some people. And that's why there's a lot of people that bend off. I don't agree with this church, and so I'm going to go. Sometimes the pastor makes a church. Some people say, "Oh, 8 a.m. is too early to go to church," but then when there's a Husker game at 8 a.m., they're up at 6 and they're down in Lincoln by 7. So it's just your priorities, that kind of thing. But overall, I think there's just a lot of sin in the world. There's a lot more sin in the world than maybe in years past. The internet is giving a lot of bad ideas. There's a lot more technology. There's just a lot more bad things happening in the world, and it's hard to filter when you're a Christian. It's hard to filter through that and try to stay out of it. And people don't like to be told what to do. Oh, I'll believe what I want. I only believe what I see. And it's like, well, maybe you haven't been touched by God. I mean, have you held a baby? That's a miracle right there. If you've held any kind of baby, that's a miracle. Even a puppy, that's a miracle, and that's God's work. You think that just happens out of, you can plant a seed and that grows. So people just need to look and, and believe. And if it's not too late. I mean, God will never say, nope, too late. You had your window. He'll always love you. It's never too late to jump on the bus.
And one thing I love about God, he ain't gonna never ghost me like a woman would.
Nope.
The Lord, the door ain't never closed for him. He is always available if you go to him. Anybody can come to Christ at any age.
Sure. Yeah.
He ain't never finished with, you know.
My grandpa got introduced to Christ as a grown man. I mean, he had kids already, and he was probably in his 30s. And somebody introduced him to Christ, and from there on, he lived his life out to Christ and did that for his kids too. And it's never too late. I tell people on my radio show, I do a Christian radio show with music, and I tell them, I was like, you know what, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365, God's available. It's not like 7-Eleven. It's not like Walmart. It's not like he's always there. I don't care if it's the middle of the night, middle of the day, whatever. He's always there to listen.
Well, the thing we got to start doing is pray as well. I think we don't pray enough.
I agree.
And trauma. The thing with dating, I'm gonna tie this back to God. A lot of people have dealt with a lot of trauma. A lot of women have dealt with a lot of trauma and mans as well. And they start to lump everybody and they project who you are and they misunderstand you because they have been through a lot in their life. And that's why people don't want to let their guard down because of trauma, and they pass. And a lot of people, they hold that against other people that's trying to be there for them.
Yeah. And yeah, trauma's a big one. Like I know a lady who lost a son, and it was 10, 12 years ago. Her son was in an car accident. He was 16, lost his life. The guy who's driving still lives. I mean, he still lives to this day. And, for a long time she questioned, but she didn't turn her back on God. In fact, now she's working on a podcast with me on how to do it for grieving parents who have been through similar things. So she's using her experience that God put her through to turn it into a positive. Yes, it's hard for her. I mean, yes, her son would, she wondered all those years what would have happened to him and what he would have been like, but she's turning it into a positive. And, I'm sure there was some time at the beginning where she was mad at God, obviously, but she never turned her back on him. And now he's using her as a tool to help other parents who've been through the same situation.
Well, the Lord take what the enemy meant for evil and turn it for good.
Yep. Yeah. My dad always said, just, put your faith in the God. I mean, we've been on some parts when I was 8 years old, we were on food stamps, and we kept our faith in God. And a year later, Dad got a great job and we were doing much better, and then kept getting better. So, I mean, that was an example to me at an early age that, okay, yep, I didn't grow up going to church. We went to Christmas, went to Easter. I believed in God, but Dad, I've had several things in my life that have happened that wouldn't have happened without God.
Well said, Josh. And I want to tell my fans, pray for me, guys. I've been looking for consistent work. Continue to pray for me, And I wish everybody all the best on this earth, and happiness and everything. And let us all get along and that's a good time this summer without going crazy and stuff.
Yeah. Hey, and you're going on a game show soon, aren't you?
That was a great. Yeah.
That's cool.
The Price is Right.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've never been on that. I've never seen it in person, so that'd be cool.
Well, I may not get picked to be an audience though, So, that people go there, but some people don't get picked,
Sure.
Say you be in the audience and stuff, So we'll see.
They used to do 2 shows a day. When Bob Barker was there, they would film 2 shows a day, and they would interview everybody that came in, and that's the people how they picked to be on the show. But all you had to do was write them, and they'd send you free tickets, and you get there, and you'd be guaranteed to at least get in and watch in the audience and be part of the show. That was back in the day.
Ain't no guarantee no more.
Right.
Ain't no guarantee no more on there now.
Yeah, and a lot of people that win cars and stuff on there have to turn around and sell them because they can't afford the insurance. I mean, because they don't pay taxes on any of that stuff they give away.
Well, some of these games would be rigged though too, man.
It could be, yeah, I'm sure. I knew a lady that was on Price is Right. She was an older lady. She didn't drive anymore. She won a car, a bed, and some cash. So she donated. This was in the early 90s, I think. Anyway, she donated a car, kept the bed, and I think gave part of the money to her church. But she donated. She's like, I don't need a car. I can't drive. So donated that to her church, gave some of the money away, kept the rest of the money in the bed. So, I mean, that was kind of cool that she did that.
Well said, Josh, man. It was a pleasure having you on, man. And till next time, to be continued.
All right. And I
This
love the
ain't see you
headband,
later.
buddy.
This that see you down the road.
Okay. I need one of those headbands.
All right. Hey, it's hot in Chicago right now, man.
Oh,
It
it's hot.
really is.
Yeah, it's hot here too.
You like my new look, man?
I like
You
it.
like my glasses?
Yeah. It's good stuff.
Well, I gotta get a different look sometimes, you know. I can't have the same look for the interview people, you know.
I shaved my
When I
beard.
do
I
interviews,
just got the goatee right now. So that's my new thing.
I can't even see you, Josh. I'm just being honest, man. Okay,
There I
all
am.
right. I see that.
You're not
It
missing
ain't
much.
really much there, Josh, but okay.
I have a face for radio. Yep.
All right, Josh, you can stop it now.
All right. I will stop the recording and